Hi, I'm Mike Malaska, 2011 PGA National Teacher of the Year, one of a bunch of awards just put into the Golf Digest Legends of Golf Instruction, which there's only a few of us and it's a real honor to be there. Being in that though means I've seen hundreds of thousands of people and I've worked a lot on golf swing. Every time I see something that helps me help people, give them immediate feedback to help them with the game, I have to get involved with it. This is precision impact. The number one pain or problem that this solves is everybody struggles with, how do I make my wrist hinge? How do they work? What is my hand action? In 2016, I put together what was my entire life's work understanding a process of the golf swing. It's called the M system. Now in that M system, we talk a lot about how your hands work, because your hands are your only connection to the club and the face. What this precision impact will do for you relative to that M system is shortcut the learning curve. Once you have this on and you know what you're trying to do with it, what it's going to do for you is it's going to automatically give you immediate feedback as to whether or not your hands and wrists are hinging in the right angle relative to what you're trying to do with the golf swing, because it'll make you do things correctly. That's a big deal. I can stand there and help you do it, but if you don't have something to give you feedback to know whether or not you're doing it correctly, you could be doing the wrong thing and keep practicing it and you're wasting your time. Once you understand what this does, it starts right with a putter, it helps you with that, it helps you with chipping, pitching, all the way up to your driver. All right, we talked about the M system and we've got line of compression, which is the very first part of it. So how is this going to help me with line of compression? Well, line of compression is when I put this on, my arm lines up with the putter shaft. So now I've got a perfect line there. Now, here's what happens when I hit a putt. Basically, I have a little forward press, and if you're going to listen, what's going to happen here, I have a little forward press, and it clicks. Then once I've got that, it just holds, and my right arm pushes that shaft right through the ball. Now, if I set this, and I open the face, or I do something, there's no click. Now, if I get a really long putt, what happens is I go forward press, click. I go back. When I change directions, there's one more click, because actually there's a little bit of lag in a putting stroke, especially on the longer putt. So when I'm set up to the ball here, I get set up. I'm using one hand here. Then I forward press. There it clicked. Let me do it again so you can hear it. I won't talk while I do it. So I'm going to forward press, click, take it back, just hold it in that same thing and hit the putt. All right, so that's for the short putts. Now I can do that with two hands, but it's that one little click that sets the angle in your wrist. Now because of this is on here, it won't let me flip my hands the other way, and I don't want them to do more than that. So I don't want too much hand action. So with the putter, this kind of defines how much leverage or how much motion you want in your wrist, and you can decide what you want to do. So in the longer putts, what I'll do is I set up, I have a little forward press, click, I make a backswing, and then there's a little lag that clicks it again. So it goes click, click. Now, again, if my hands twist, so if I do that again, and my hands twist, if I will forward press wrong, no click. If I lag it and my hands open, no click. So you can hear what that thing did. Well, that's because I'm leveraging my wrist in exactly the right angle relative to my forearm and that line of compression. So it starts right with putting. This can give you really good feedback as to what you're trying to do with your putter. So now we're talking about chipping, which is still the same line of compression. So we're still lining up and we're pushing the shaft. It's going to be how much angle do we want in this wrist. And the biggest problem people have with chipping is they try to lift the ball in the air. Now, what I have here is there's a dot on the center of my club face, 4 grooves up in the face. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up, and then I'm going to lean the shaft, which is going to make this click. And that clicked one time. Now what I'm going to do, I could do it with one hand. I just go back and go through. I don't want any more clicks, and I don't want to feel myself pushing with these fingers where it puts pressure in this. So I'm just letting this whole apparatus, once I set that angle, I'm just letting my arm just swing. I'm just letting the weight of the club go. So I start over again. Click, boom, boom. Click, boom, boom. That's a big deal. So once you click that, it sets an angle in your wrist. Now, what you want to do is totally take the tension out of your wrist because this is holding you. Then you swing your arm back and you swing your arm through. You're not trying to lift the ball. And if you push, you're going to feel pressure on this and back in here. You don't want to feel that. So again, I unhook it. I go 1. Now, all the tension's out of my wrist. All I'm doing is swinging my arm. And now I'm not scooping underneath it, because if I try to scoop underneath it, I start to feel a lot of pressure in this. So basically what this is, in the M system, we talk about line of compression and off-green putting. So all I've really done here is I've taken my putting grip, putting stance, changed the ball position a little bit, and now all I'm doing is making my putting stroke. So this clicking action, once you set it, you know, okay, my wrist is set, then the tension goes out, it's gonna hold you there. So then all you have to do is swing your arm back and through. Your wrist shouldn't be pushing or doing anything from that point. So you start to learn how to let the weight of the club just swing and not try to help the ball up in the air, because it's giving you feedback if you try to help it. And that's a really important thing. You don't help the ball up in the air, you catch it on the face gets it in the air. So we got a couple more drills coming here for you with different parts of the swing. But before we do that, we'd like you to go on and like and subscribe to our channel, because we've got a lot of great information and a lot of great content coming. They're going to help you with all parts of your game. Now we're going to pitching. Now we're still into line of compression, but now in the M system, we start talking about pitching. And for me, this is where you really start to learn how your wrist hinge and how you catch the ball on the face. Because if your wrist hinges incorrectly, the face doesn't work and it's hard to catch the ball in the face, compress it, control distance. So we're going to start with one hand. And I do this every single day, and I do it with all my students. So you set up. Now, if I take the club back correctly, or let's say I take it incorrectly. So if I open the face or take it too much to the inside, see, it doesn't click. If I take it back correctly, if my wrist works correctly, you hear it click. Now once it clicks, once I get it to click, then I just swing my arm forward. Uh-oh, almost made it. So what does that do? Well, first of all, you learn how to use your hands correctly, the right angle for your wrist to work. Then once that angle is set, then all you have to do is swing your arms. You don't have to scoop back underneath it to try to lift it up in the air, which is a big mistake people make. Now, I'm going to do that again with one hand. So same thing, as I go back, what's going to happen? So the face is now looking at the ball because I've leveraged my wrist correctly. Once I do that, then I just swing my arm forward. And it, like I say, it keeps the angle in my wrist. And now I just swing my arm and control the speed that the face is going. Now, once you can do that with one hand, we're going to do the same thing with two. So I unhinge it. So now I'm in my setup position. So what's going to happen? Same thing. And then I just swing my arms forward. Same grip. So now, because my wrist is hinged correctly, the face is looking at the ball. Now I can just swing my arm, and because the face isn't twisting all over the place, I can press the ball and I can control the direction it goes and the distance. So this becomes a big deal relative to building your full swing. So while we've got a few seconds here, go into the comments section, and if you have any teaching aids that you really like, that have really helped you with parts of your game, comment them, let me see. I'm always looking. I look at everything. A lot of people have commented, okay, you're starting to back some teaching aids. Of course I am, because they're good aids that help with what I believe is important in a golf swing. They're immediate feedback. So let me know in the comment section if there's something that's really helped you with your swing. I want to see what it is. So now we're talking about full swing. And again, when it comes to the M system, it's about how the wrist lever. It's called L to L, or the L on the backswing. But you've got to get the face to work correctly. So if you just twist the face again, and I've got this L here, I mean, there's an L, but if you notice, you didn't hear any clicking, right? Now I'm going to do the same thing, only I'm going to create an L, but did you hear all that clicking? That's because my right hand and right arm set the right angle correctly. And when I do that, also my elbow rotates in and this externally rotates. So my arm works this way and my right palm is facing that direction, as opposed to most people twist the club this way. So again, this thing relative to your backswing, this precision impact, now I'm set up. Now what I'd ask most people to do, you set up, then you go and you set it, then you turn and you hit. So rather than trying to do it at on the way back, first make sure that it's set to start with. So I'm going to set up to this ball, I get my grip, I get lined up, I'm going to set up. Now the first thing I'm going to do is go through those clicks. So here we go. Now it's all set. Now all I'm going to do from here is turn it to the top and hit. I had a nice shot. Now the other thing, once you set it like that and you hear those clicks and then you swing, this wrist is now set. Now I can take all the tension out of this hand and arm. Because now that that wrist is set, all I want to do is just swing the club. You don't want to try to help it. So this helps you to feel what that angle is. And then when I change directions, I can also feel that this angle holds. Now it's not holding because I'm holding it. Another good thing this does is when you start talking about hold the angle in your wrist, people put tension in their wrist. And when they put tension and try to hold an angle, then the momentum of the club can't make their wrist react correctly. With this thing, your wrist is set, but now I can relax my wrist, it stays set. So now I can go up and start down and I get the right feel for what the transition is. So now I start to feel how when I transition, there's basically no tension in my wrist. So that as I come down, the weight of the club maintains the angle in my wrist. And then as I go through the ball, the weight of the club is what unhinges my wrists, rather than me forcing it, holding it, and then trying to force it again. So again, all we're trying to do is create an angle. Now this time I'm going to put it all together. So as I swing, you'll hear it clicking as I'm swinging. Right at it. So that's the final result where it's clicking as I'm swinging. So first, click, 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 swing and hit, then it's clicking as you're swinging. Once it sets, you can take the tension out of this wrist and just let it go. This will keep the angle and you'll feel what you're supposed to feel on the downswing. So go to MalaskaGolf.com, go to the Pro Shop, pick up a Precision Impact. Why? It's one of the few teaching aids over my career where I found it gives you the feedback you need to help you with putting, chipping, and with your driver. So across the board, this can help you to practice the things you need to practice to get better with your game.